Hey guys, I'm Dave Mason Jr. here with eBay Motors. I'm standing with two very different dirt bikes, fairly dirty, but very fun as well. I have this 2006 RM250 built by Suzuki, and then the new Sur Ron X electric dirt bike, and I was just so excited to get to compare them and contrast them. I've always been into dirt bikes. I race trophy trucks, Class 1 buggies all over Mexico and the Midwest of the United States. I do a lot of exciting things, but dirt bikes have always been a big passion of mine. Unfortunately, public lands are closing and it's kind of harder to find good places to ride. I felt like this could be a new opportunity to ride in places that I can't get to usually because of the engine noise, the added dust of these bikes, and just the restrictions that are coming out. So I wanted to get a feel for this bike and see what it is all about, see if the range was good enough for me, see if it has enough power to haul me around. And as you'll see throughout the video, I was really impressed by it all the way. So when I ride, I like to try a lot of different variety in the terrain. I have a lot of cool trails near my house that are hiking trails, biking trails, some motorcycle stuff, also horseback trails. But there's a lot of stuff that I can't go to on the loud dirt bike because it's restricted. This thing seems to be able to get away with areas that are more suited for mountain bike trails. And they were really tight, technical, twisty stuff that the mountain bike guys had cut in through the bushes. It handles really well. I was really impressed. It turns super sharp. The brakes work very well. It has hand controls only. It doesn't have like any foot controls like a dirt bike typically would. And the thing did super well. I was really impressed. I'm a rather tall, heavier guy. The bike is fairly small compared to this thing, and it just kept going. Another thing is it's been super durable. I have not gone easy on this thing. I just got it, so it's fresh, and I didn't want to break it or anything, but I have been absolutely torturing this thing on the trails, and it's held up super well. No problems, no issues. So for comparison purposes, I wanted to kind of go through some pros and cons of each. The pros for the standard dirt bike was a two-stroke. It has a lot of range. You can fill it right back up with fuel when you run out. So I can go about 75, 80 miles on this thing and then just fill it up and go again. But the con here is the maintenance. I mean, it's much more expensive to pay for the fuel, the oil changes, the air filter. I mean, it goes through parts a lot more, it blows the tires off. Whereas the Sur Ron, maintenance is virtually minimal. I mean, really at this point, I put several hundred miles on it and done nothing but charge it up. And then you just go and ride. I'll usually ride it for about 2 hours straight and it'll still be like 40, 50% left. So the longest I rode it was about 3 hours and I got down to like 10%. For charging solutions, I just charge it up at home. Usually I'll take the battery right out, which is pretty easy to do. You just kind of unclip it here and it's out. So I'll take this thing right inside my house. I have the charger right here. It's lightweight and small. You just plug this thing in and go from there. So if you live in an apartment or somewhere where you can't store your bike where you live, then it's pretty easy to take it out and charge it. Another thing is when that battery's out, it's super easy to load the bike because it's like 60 pounds less. There's a lot of nice things about this bike that I've gotten to get used to and kind of adapt to. So in my experience for the range, actual mileage, it's been about 30 to 40 miles on a charge. And I think that's pretty good. For a small bike like this, if you're riding trails around your house, I mean, that's gonna be a good long time before you have to charge it up. And then it is a couple hours to charge it once you get back, but you can kind of relax for a few minutes and then get going again. When I ride the big dirt bike, I always have full gear. I mean, that's motorcycle boots, pants, jersey, gloves, helmet, goggles. Usually I wear knee braces. That's what I would honestly recommend on this thing. Wear as much gear as possible because it's not really a matter of time, or it is a matter of time before you'll crash on this thing. I am blessed to not have crashed it in the several months I've been riding it, but it's pretty easy to do, when you start doing jumps and bumps and big downhills and stuff like that. I would say pick a bike that has good parts availability and is popular, so it'll be supported over a long period of time. And then also kind of range considerations and the style of riding you do. It's really important. So if you want to go out in the open desert and just ride, 200 miles in a day, which is something I do, this probably isn't very well suited for that. But if you want to spend some time with your friends and do some local trails or mountain bike trails or something like that, this is perfect. I have 2 other friends with the Sur Ron bikes, and I can't tell you how much fun it is, because you can almost like yell at each other as you're riding. You can hear each other, you can watch each other do jumps and tricks and stuff like that, and it's something that's like a great tool to improve skills on. So yeah, some things I've gone through already is like, where should you ride and where can you ride? I found that the possibilities were kind of endless with this thing. I rode around the bike lanes on the street. We'd go to the pizza place with my buddies, and then we'd go out on the trails that were nearby. It was really easy to get around with this thing, which is nice because it's not street legal, but as long as you have a helmet on and you follow the road laws, it's no problem riding around. So, this is kind of a cross between like an electric mountain bike and a dirt bike. It's kind of all in the middle there. So do some research and see where it's legal to ride for these things. But I feel that this will be able to open up a lot more areas to ride in because it's quiet. It doesn't tear up the trails as much as these dirt bikes. And it kind of gets you out there farther than most people would want to hike or ride their mountain bikes. I think it's just going to be an awesome addition to the power sports market. I mean, really, I think there's a niche here that people really want, to where they can ride in their backyard and not, upset their neighbors. I think it'll be a really great fit for a lot of people in urban environments, living in towns and stuff, that want to get into dirt bike riding but don't want to drive 2 hours to go to the desert every time they want to ride. So for me, I think it'll be great. I race my dirt bike sometimes. I don't know that I'll necessarily race this thing, but I think it'll be a great training tool for me in between races, just to stay sharp and develop my skills and have a great time. So one big question I had when I got this thing off eBay Motors, it was like, is it going to be good enough in stock form for me to have a good time and enjoy it? I'm proud to say that it is super fun in stock form, and while there are a couple of little upgrades I would consider doing, I don't feel the need at the moment to just go out and like change everything. You look at this thing and it's lightweight, and then some of the metals on it they look a little bit thin and stuff like that, but it has held up like a champion. You can upgrade the suspension, you can get a bigger battery, you can get a faster controller for more top speed. I have a friend who's done all of that stuff, and his bike is fantastic, but he's already spent like double what the initial cost of this thing was. So for me, I would just like to keep it stock, and if anything wears out or breaks, I would fix it or potentially upgrade it. But at this point, I don't really see any upgrades. Like, I ride this thing super hard, like I do my regular dirt bikes, and it does awesome. So overall, I'm totally stoked to be riding this Sur Ron. I plan to do some more trips with it and ride with my buddies. A lot of people talk about, like, is it going to replace the regular dirt bikes, or the manufacturers going to stop making them, or the people going to stop riding them? I hope not. I hope that there's always that kind of variety and there's options available. But I think it's great that there's more options. It's really cool to see new innovation and new things being made and brought into the marketplace. So I can't wait. Like I said, I just love riding dirt bikes. I'm totally obsessed with it. So any chance I get to make it easier to ride, I'm all about it.
Baby, tell me to go.